okay? I specifically want to say that yes, life is hard right now. Yes, they gave you so much confusing energy, but you're basically walking away. You're basically focused on you. The thing about it is that they're having a really hard time focusing on building their stability. And I personally do believe that they could be doing a few crazy things to move on from you. Why? Because with the Five of Swords, with the Six of Swords, and with the Devil right here, they are a person that struggles with their emotions. They are a person that struggles with understanding themselves. So the only way for them to basically move on is by adding another nail where you used to be, or adding someone else where you basically left an empty spot. Let's dive in. Do I have chisme for you guys tonight? Welcome to your late night reading. If this reading found you, it found you for a reason. But it is a late night reading, late night love reading. I always do one. And do I have news for you? Okay, I don't know, I'm specifically feeling this energy that you feel their energy, right? You feel like you're going crazy. Why? Because you feel their energy, or you start thinking about them in the most random times of the day. And you're super busy, you're completely in your zone, and all of a sudden you start thinking about them. And you ask yourself, you are like a little worm in my brain that won't leave me alone, so I need you to leave me alone, right? With the Queen of Swords and with the Ten of Wands, I personally still feel like you are still carrying heavy burden from this situation, from this relationship, from the situationship. You're still carrying a heavy burden, right? With the Queen of Swords, I feel like you struggle with your boundaries. Okay, you struggle with letting people go, and you struggle with letting people back in, right? With the Queen of Swords, I want to say it, I personally feel like you are not in your power, right? I personally feel like you have not been taking care of yourself, and I personally feel like you're trying to, but you're specifically not doing so, okay? And with the Queen of Swords, I feel like this situation, this connection, you really did let this person step over you, or you really let this person basically play with your feelings and put you in a very confusing space and state of mind, right? But I feel like now you are learning that you're supposed to heal from that. Now you are learning that you're basically in a better headspace than you have ever been before, and you're learning how to set boundaries. So if somebody tries to do the same thing to you, then you're basically going to cut them off, or you're basically going to push them away, right? With the moon, like I'm telling you, I feel like you're still feeling confused. And I feel like you're still feeling confused because you're having a really hard time, I guess you could say, moving on from the situation. But what finds you in this state of mind that honestly just bugs you more is the fact that you wouldn't be thinking about them, and all of a sudden they pop up into your brain or to your head. So basically, that's what bothers you, okay? But I specifically feel like the reason that you keep thinking about them, the reason that you're currently still on their energy, is because you're also on their energy, okay? And this is only going to resonate for a few people, but if the first part match, stay. Most likely the second part will match as well. But what type of person were they? We have the Six of Swords. I feel like you know them as the type of person that struggles with a lot of conflict, and that basically struggles to walk away and struggles to move away from conflict. Right, the thing about it is that I feel like it's definitely more of the emotional side of things with the King of Cups right here, right? So they struggle with emotional conflict. They struggle with understanding their emotions, and they even struggle with understanding you in a relationship, right? And I feel like you also know that. It could also mean that they're a water sign, specifically more of a Pisces, right? The thing about it is that with the Six of Swords, not only are they having trouble moving on from the connection, I personally feel like they could be doing things that sacrifice their structure, right? So with the King of Pentacles being right here, it signifies that maybe they are a very structural person, or they present themselves as being very structural. Like, I got money, I got a nice carro, I got a place for myself, right? And even if not, if they're still young, they have the car, they basically pay for things they have to do, right? Or maybe they try to show like they have that, right? But with the Six of Swords and with the King of Pentacles, I want to tell you that they're doing things right now that are basically messing with their structure big time, right? And I feel like they could struggle to move on from you, but they're using different ways to cope with the fact they have to move away from you, right? You know, they can also be a Virgo. I personally feel like with the Six of Swords right here in reverse, they're struggling to kind of walk away, but they're doing so. And with the King of Pentacles, I don't know why I personally feel like they could be doing things like talking to somebody else, going out with somebody else, just to be able to move on away from you. Okay? That's specifically what I'm feeling. Okay? Go ahead and give me more info. Go ahead and give me more info. Exactly. Boom. Like I'm telling you, my intuition picked it up. I checked it. Because usually the devil, that's what it means. Okay? The devil signifies doing things that basically feel good at the moment, but don't feel good in the long run, right? So I feel like they could be out there in the streets specifically because they're hurt over how things ended, right? And I feel like this is the only way they can cope with their emotions. Even though things feel hard, even though you struggle to set boundaries, with the Emperor right here, I feel like you're finding more of your structure now, or you're definitely finding your structure, and you're basically putting yourself in the pedestal that you did not put you before, right? The thing about it is that with them, with the Five of Swords and with the Devil and with the Three of Swords, I don't know why I've been hitting this microphone the whole day, right? But with the Three of Swords, with the Five of Swords, with the Devil, I feel like they're definitely in a place of having a lot of pain because you are moving on. You're basically in a better place than them. And overall, with these three cards, I personally do believe that in the back of their mind, they see you as somebody that could offer them structure with a Ten of Wands because you can hold yourself up, but they would rather look at temptation. Why? Because they know for a fact they messed up and you would never take back a sorry person like them.